Is that it? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Thank goodness for that. Okay, first of all, multitasking. It's not easy for a bloke to multitask. I've got to hold this, and read my notes as well. So it's just going to be a bit off the cuff. First of all, thank you all for coming. It really does mean the world to us that... no, leave it down there, please. Thanks, mate. Yeah. It means the world to us that you've all come here supporting the Greenco workers, those who are still fortunate enough to have a job, and particularly those who have been sacked and chucked on the scrap heap by this company. I have to say that this is the latest in a number of Greenco rallies that I've spoken at, and I never ever expected that 1 year on we would still be here today. But you know, I think that Greenco never thought that 1 year on we'd still be here today, and our sacked reps would still be here today, and our sacked managers would still be here today. And I want to pay tribute to them, and I want you all to pay tribute to all of them as well, please. Our reps, Gordon Parks, Jim Rogers, our managers, Sharon Lowry, Rachel Briggs and Andy Whitehead, who I think you're going to hear from soon. Because first of all, Sharon, then the managers stood up to this disgraceful company and said that what they were doing was inherently wrong. It was unfair. They were creaming off the profits that our members were working so hard to create in the first place. And this Martine LaFemme Butler, the shame of the person that she is, was putting it in her purse and her bank account. But I also want to pay tribute to the officer who's led this dispute with such aplomb, and that's Pete Davis. You just heard from him there. Pete has been absolutely unswerving in his support for our Greenco members and our members in Sheffield, as he always is. He's known as Mr. Sheffield, and I think he likes the tag very much. But the reality is, comrades, that he likes it because he bloody well earns it. And as I've said, I don't think that Greenco themselves ever thought we would be here 1 year on, but I know that all of our members did. Because that's what we do in the GMB. If we have a dispute, if in times of trouble or difficulty, I've always said, any region I lead, any union that I'm ever any part of, I will never have an employer shamelessly put our members out of work unfairly and then we'll walk away with our hands in our pockets saying there's nothing we can do. We'll never do that. And we always said that we'd never starve our members back to work. We said we would always support our reps, and we've done that through all sorts of funding ways, innovative, some less innovative, but we've always been there with them. But there's one other bunch of people I want to pay tribute to, and that's Greenco. Greenco, the company. I want to pay tribute to them as well for their foresight, because they've been ahead of the game. And I'll tell you how they've been ahead of the game. When they sacked our managers, they realised that they didn't have 2 years service, so they couldn't apply it to an employment tribunal. And who brought in the legislation that said that you had to have 2 years before you could apply it to a tribunal? The Tory government. They also sacked our reps, selectively sacked our reps. It was all of our members who took that 2 hours of strike action that Pete Davis has just told you about. Who were the only ones they sacked? The reps. That's because they could. And who introduced the right to selectively sack people? The Tories. And the reason I'm paying tribute to Greenco is they're ahead of the game again. So I'll tell you what we've got coming down the line, and that is this trade union bill allows you, if you get a dispute like this, to bring in contracted 0 hours workers, temps, agencies. Guess what Greenco did? They brought in 0 hours agency temp workers, so they're ahead of the game again. So everything that this bastard of a company have done, the Tories intend to do and make that half of the course right across the UK, unless we fight this trade union bill and we bloody well defeat it. So what else does that hold for us? What else does that bill hold for us? The 40-50 legislation, the requirements about how many people have to vote, in favour of strike action, just about making strikes in future in the public sector impossible. So our dinner ladies, our nurses, our teaching support staff, our refuse men have got just about no chance to stand up and say to their employer, you're treating us appallingly, we just can't have it anymore, we're not having it anymore. And the other bit that I think is going under the radar a little bit, and that's about the opt-in of trade union political funds. Because what some of this press are trying to dress up as, well, it's the money that the trade unions pay straight to the Labour Party. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. What happens is that our members will affiliate to the Labour Party on a certain number of people, and that's determined either by the individual members themselves or by our executive. That money, that threepence a week that people opt to pay into the GMB political fund is used for GMB political campaigning. Things like this here now, things like our Greenco disputes, things like disputes you see all over Sheffield, month in, month out. That's what that political fund supports and pays for. So don't let anyone kid you that the Tories don't know that that isn't about the money that goes to Labour only. That is about taking away the financial opportunities and rights of trade unions to campaign on behalf of their members. But the Labour Party need to show some leadership in response, because we have to fight back. And some of you, anyone who follows me on Twitter, have seen me say, we've had our moan now we fight back. And what isn't helped are things like the acting leader of the party talking about, you know, abstain and keep your head down and don't upset the apple cart, and we needn't be saying too much about welfare benefits and cuts. Yes, we flipping well should. We need to get off our knees and we need to start campaigning together. And I'll tell you something else I'll always fight against, and it's starting to rise again, not surprisingly. That is people who talk about walking away from the Labour Party and setting up our own party. Let's just examine that for a moment. Let's examine, if we did that for a moment, what we'd be talking about here. Would we be talking about potentially the end of this dispute through Sheffield City Council? Not a chance in the world, because Sheffield City Council Labour group would say, well, you've walked away from us. Would we have Louise Haigh about to talk to us in a moment? No, because we'd have walked away from her as well. And Harry Harpham and Richard Bergen and all the other quality MPs we've got right up and down the UK. Would we have a dialogue with local government Labour councillors? No, we wouldn't. And there's a number in this audience today who have stood by us in the Greenco dispute and stood by us in the public sector disputes of the past as well. So I say, comrades, we stand together and we fight together. And I don't always like the decisions the party have made. And the latest one that Harman has made is a joke and a disgrace, and I've told her, and I'll tell her again. But I won't abandon the party. Together, if we stick together, we change the route, the direction, the policies and principles of the party, and we win together. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support.